Hello everyone. If you really thought about it, I bet you could come up with a description about what your perfect relationship would be. Your conscious perfect relationship would look something like a supportive and loving relationship where someone's able to be emotionally intimate, where you're able to have fun with that person. But let's be honest, that's not the relationship you usually get. You may feel like you're cursed. The relationship you get is with a partner who's unsupportive, who doesn't make you feel like they love you, who's not emotionally available, and who you don't have fun with. A lot of people think, why me? They might ask why they deserve this kind of relationship. But the reality is this has nothing to do with deserving. It has everything to do with your subconscious mind. We are creatures of habit. Look at our actions. It's instinctual. We think that we can create some sort of certainty, some kind of continuity and stability by returning to what's familiar. You sleep on the same side of the bed at night. You put your toothbrush in the same place in the bathroom. You have sex the same way with your partner. You keep going to the same restaurant week after week. This is an instinct that exists within you that works against us when it comes to relationships. Here's the thing. When you were a child, you had no conscious idea about what love is. And with a cerebral cortex that was not yet completely formed, you experienced the world entirely through felt perception. You felt the world before you intellectualized it. Because of this, the way you felt about the world set up your expectations and later beliefs about the world. Even if you had a violent, abusive, or lonely childhood, your home was still home. It was where you went to sleep at night. It's where you were fed and clothed, or not fed and clothed. It was where you got your attention from, or lack thereof. Children are born loving their parents. And they are born assuming that their parents love them. The relationship with the family they are born into is their first taste of human connection and thus their first taste of love. It doesn't matter if we, in our adult perspective, look backwards and say, that was not a loving household. A child doesn't know any different than this version of love that exists in their home. Because of this, they associate love with home. The way that they felt in their home and in their relationship with their parents becomes their definition of love. This means if your home felt like chaos and confusion and loneliness and deception, you think that's what love is supposed to feel like. As we grow up, we become conscious of the idea of bad and good. Then what we do is we banish the unwanted aspects, the not good aspects of our life, to the unconscious. We deny them, we suppress them, we try to forget them, and often succeed. What we do is we only remain aware of what we feel is good or acceptable. This is an issue when it comes to love. It means that we consciously, as we grow up, come up with an idea about what good thing love is supposed to feel like. And that means that we banish the idea, the negative emotions, of what love actually feels like to our subconscious mind to the subconscious. We create a rift between our conscious definition of love and our subconscious definition of love. Consciously, we know love should feel loving and supportive and open and trusting. Subconsciously, we know love should feel unloving, unsupportive, constrictive, and fearful. On a conscious level, we think we are going after the partners who will make us feel that conscious definition of love. But our subconscious mind, the one that is in charge of our instant biochemical reaction to someone, which is much more primal and much more in charge of our emotions, only allows us to become attracted to someone who fits its definition of love. Your mind will link any associations that you have with home to what love is supposed to feel like. So when you consciously decide that you want love in your life, your subconscious mind goes to work sorting through its Rolodex of what subconscious love should feel like, And then it compels you to be attracted to people who fit those associations that you have with love on a subconscious level, and thus home. Your subconscious mind takes you back to your childhood home. So this is how it works. If love equals home and home equals abandonment, then love equals abandonment. Let's say that when you were growing up, you were born to an alcoholic father and an enabling mother. Home to you felt like anxiety and it felt like crisis. You were always trying to avoid your father's raging hot temper, and you felt like nothing you could do was right. To some degree, everyone's focus was on your father, and so you were ignored whenever you were not being yelled at. You felt lonely in your childhood home. You wanted to run away, but you didn't know how. When you grow up, even though you consciously want a partner who is there with you and who is kind and gentle and who makes you feel complete inside, you keep ending up with partners who make you feel anxiety. Life with them is one crisis after another. You are drawn to people who at first seem cool and collected, but who turn out to have extremely hot tempers. They ignore you when they aren't yelling at you. To some degree, you feel immeasurably lonely and want to end the relationship, but you don't know how. The thing is, despite your suspicions, it's not that all men or all women are this way. Something else is happening entirely. You meet plenty of women or men who are loving and who could make for great supportive partners, who seldom, if ever, get angry. But when you meet them, you just don't feel that spark. Your subconscious mind says, "This is not what love feels like, so I don't think it's love." Whereas when you meet someone and your subconscious mind senses that they are an unstable person with a hot temper who is emotionally distant, it says, "Ah, this feels familiar. This feels like love. It must be love." Your subconscious mind, compelled by instinct, takes you right back to your childhood home in the same way that without your conscious notice, it compels you to sleep on the same side of the bed at night. And 3 months later, you're kicking yourself, asking why me. So we're going to do an exercise. I want you to take out a piece of paper, and at the top of that paper, I want you to write the word home. And then I want you to list every association that you have with home. Now we know that most of us, unless we had really unhappy childhoods, feel positive and negative towards the idea of home. But it's not the positive associations with home that are causing us pain in our relationships. It's the negative associations. So think about how you felt, especially in terms of negative, towards your home environment and towards your relationship with your parents. Did you feel as if you were lonely growing up? Did you feel as if no one heard you or listened to you? Did you feel scared? Think about emotions, as well as things that happened in your childhood home, in order to compile this particular list. I want you to especially write down all the negative feelings you can remember and negative associations you have with being in your childhood home and in your relationship with your parents, primary caregivers, and siblings up until you left home. When you finish this list, go ahead and cross out the word home and write love in its place. You are looking at your subconscious definition of love. Do your relationships make a little bit more sense? So you know I can't stop there. It just so happens that I found a process that made me laugh so hard this week that I had to share it with you. There's a woman who's a revolutionary psychologist and self-help author who's famous mostly for her work in relationships in the 90s. Her name is Barbara DeAngelis. Now what I found out is that this woman in some of her seminars would have people do what's called a want ad. And this is a super hilarious exercise, so I want you all to try it at home. Basically, the exercise goes like this. You've all seen those ads in the newspaper, the ones advertising for wanted relationships. They go a little something like this. Wanted, sensitive, caring man or woman who is capable of a deep relationship. Sense of humor is a must. I'm looking for someone who is successful but not a workaholic, and someone who's emotionally available. If you are honest, healthy, trustworthy, and ready for a commitment, then I'm the one for you. Call 676-334-2123. However, if you were to match your emotional wants ad with the partners you actually receive, it's as if your want ad in the newspaper must have read something like this. Wanted. Self-centered, insensitive man who is incapable of a deep relationship. Seriousness and no sense of humor is a must. I'm looking for someone who is dead broke regardless of how much he works, and you must be emotionally unavailable. If you are dishonest, unhealthy, untrustworthy, and afraid of commitment, I am the one for you. Call 676-334-2123. So obviously, as we see in this exercise, what our conscious minds say we want and what our subconscious minds say we want are two entirely different things. So take out another sheet of paper. On this paper, I want you to list the names of every significant relationship that you've had in your life. These are partners which you felt a deep connection with, who you think you might have been in love with. After you write down their names, I want you to think of all the negative traits, the negative qualities about those particular partners, as well as the negative things that occurred in the relationship. This is your time to completely rag on them. What did you dislike about them or how you felt around them? For example, Mike. Jobless, dishonest, controlling, manipulative, moody, used me for money, made me feel like I was worthless, impractical, flirted with my sister, could not communicate, made me feel completely alone. Or Mary, emotionally unstable, crazy, whiny, insecure, drama queen, victim, made me the bad guy, hated sex, negative, critical, and close-minded. Once you're finished with these lists, I want you to go over them and to circle any words that have been repeated, especially the ones that repeat throughout all your relationships. What you are looking at, again, is your subconscious definition of love. Now, with the words that you've circled, write as creative an ad as you possibly can. By doing this, you will come to understand what advertisement you are subconsciously putting out for a partner, as well as the kind of people you are actually attracted to. This is the kind of person you have been seeking. This is why relationships are painful to you. It's good if we can learn to laugh at our choices, because they are, after all, somewhat hilarious. So what I want you to do is to try to make yourself laugh with this particular ad. And for your viewing pleasure, I have included 2 of these scenarios, personal want ads, for you today. For the female want ad, are you looking for a relationship where you don't have to take care of your woman, where you don't have to invest any energy into the relationship whatsoever, including money? Do you want a relationship where you don't have to think of romantic things to do and can avoid emotional intimacy altogether? Then I'm the woman for you. I'm looking for an apathetic man, someone willing to forsake me, because being forsaken is my secret fetish. I want a man who can make me feel like damaged goods. I want to watch the sunset with a man who is broke, lacks ambition, will only tolerate me when I'm positive, and only wants to have fun. No responsibility required. If you like to give up on your woman and you're trying to find someone who doesn't feel taken for granted and unlovable when you do that, call me at insert phone number.
And for the male ad, antisocial bachelor with intimacy issues seeks a dark, vampiric witch who is both crazy and unhinged. I can deal with the craziness as long as you're hot. Sex appeal fixes all problems until a little while later when the problems really blow up. I usually say I want a quiet, simple, stable homemaker, but I actually don't. Because let's be honest, I get bored of you super quickly. Instability makes me feel at home, and I love power struggles. Drama is a must. What I really want is someone that keeps me on my toes like an exhausting and strategic game of chess. If you've had a really fucked up childhood, this gives me the chance to rescue you. And then I'm all yours. Emotional volatility wins my heart and attention every time. Well, at least my attention.
When you're done, compare the findings of this particular exercise with the previous exercise you did about what it felt like in your childhood home. What you will find is that the exact negative traits that you found in your relationships exactly mirror the way you felt in your childhood home. Becoming aware of our subconscious emotional drives allows us to become aware enough to be vigilant about the partners that we choose. It also enables us to facilitate further growth in our current relationships by being aware of what the real dynamic is that's taking place. And if we, in our relationships, can make our conversations about what the problems are really about, then they're bound to improve. Have a good week.